so you can get started.
Hello. Wow, that was quick. Anyway, you guys did they skip 1, 2, 3, 4?
I skipped them and just went with 8. I went with 8.
Okay, you went with 8. Good. Because I was going to say, I was like, what the hell? What kind of time fucking, clock? Anyway, everybody, this is Andreas, Pop Culture Guy. I'm here tomorrow night, Marvel Zombies, as you saw here. Jeff controlled the time because we don't like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We go by 8. We end by 8, folks. And so, anyway, I'm here with the two wonderful gentlemen here. Let me introduce them. Of course, Jeff S. $2. Sorry about that. Co-host of Marvel Bleeding Edge, MCU Bleeding Edge. Sorry. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing about as well as your intro, sir. A little bit better than that, actually.
I know. But
I could be worse. Marvel Zombies is just okay so far. So
yeah, that's true. And of course, we got our other co-host for NC Bleeding Edge, Cyberneticshark, the King Shark himself. Go ahead. How you doing, sir?
I'm okay, sir. Glad to be here to be talking Marvel Zombies.
Awesome. So, I know, we're big MCU fans, guys. We're reviewing this 4-episode miniseries. So far, I've been enjoying it. I mean, nothing special. I'm just gonna go round table to kind of get your thoughts on episode 2. Let me start with you, Jeff. Let me start with you quickly. What are your thoughts on episode 2 in general?
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. You can go first. Come on.
So, I don't know. I mean, I've got some gripes with it already. I've got some gripes, like some small gripes with it overall. I'm always a big proponent of longer episodes of TV shows, so really, to be completely honest with you, look, I'm okay with them only having 30-minute episodes. I'm fine with that. If that's what they wanted to do and everything, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's totally fine. 30 minutes of TV is fine with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that. You can have an okay TV show with just 30-minute episodes. I mean, obviously we've seen lots of good TV shows throughout the years that were only 30 minutes long, but I just feel like, just like any other TV show that we watch and we review and talk about, this is another one where I feel like the longer episodes would help this show. If they were just, maybe 45 minutes long instead of 30 minutes, I would appreciate that a little bit more. Just to give give the show a little bit more story to it, a little bit more depth. Even if for a Marvel Zombies project, I still want to see some depth, and I still want to see, character growth and, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So I like the fast pace so far of the 30-minute episodes. I do like the pace of it. It's very, rat-a-tat-tat. It moves right around, pretty well. Episode 2 was okay. It wasn't, I don't know. I'd say it was probably just about as good as episode 1. No different, really. Just okay, pretty much for the most part. I did like seeing Baron Zemo again. That was cool. When I saw that Baron Zemo was going to be there, I like that. Even though his character kind of sucked in the episode, but I don't know. I hope that in the actual live action MCU, they're not going to do this thing with the rings with Shang-Chi where he's going to split the rings with Katie or whatever, and I hope they're not going to really do that, I don't want to see that in live action Shang-Chi. Like in Doomsday, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Katie, doing superhero moves like with the rings, you know what I'm saying? Live action. I don't think they would actually do that in live action. I don't think they would.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think he's gonna do that to other superhero, not Kate. Like I can see him doing that to like another superhero, like
but like maybe if you were just like assisting another superhero or something like that. But like the whole point of having the 10 rings is that you use the 10 rings. Well, you're an individual person uses them. You know what I'm saying? You don't split the power of them. You know what I mean? You know, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? You're not using the weapon at its best, you know, by doing it that way, in my opinion. You're better off with one person slinging the rings all on their own, you know, having full control of them on their own, you know, to then choose if they want to, you know, shoot half of them this way or half of them that way, you know. This commingling of the rings or whatever, you know, like is just kind of weird. I don't know. It's different. But I mean, Katie's okay in this episode. She's all right, you know. She doesn't bother me as bad as she does in the Shang-Chi film in this episode of Marvel Zombies. I guess she's going to be a part of it now all the way through Marvel Zombies, so I might as well get used to her, right? You know, sad seeing Yelena Belova go so early in the show, you know, but people have to die, you know. She had a good death, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, just really short episodes, you know, and I still don't understand what started the zombie war. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't do a flashback and show us like, you know, what started it. You know what I'm saying? Like how did the zombie virus like spread or like you know, how did it get to Earth or like all that? And how did Wanda become the queen? You know what I'm saying? Like I wish they would have explained that by now. I'm sure they will, but I wish they would have just explained that by now, you know?
Yeah, good point. Really good points to address. Like we already saw like the rings being like cold, like cold mid with someone. I mean, like towards the end of the Shang-Chi movie, you know, you saw Sean's father and him using, you know, the rings like coexisting, you know, during the battle. So I wasn't surprised about that. My question is like because. You know, we'll get into it. Like, it's not a big spoiler.
They were using the rings fighting against each other with one person controlling the rings on one person. You know what I'm saying?
And Sean was able to.
That's how they're best. That's how you best fight with them. You know?
Yeah.
There's a reason why Shang-Chi's dad always used the rings on his own.
Yeah, but then when Sean was able to control them, you know, using the ways of his mom. Fighting skills, he was able to control them and then use them against him towards the end of that movie. My question is, like, I get where you're coming from. My question is how the hell the rings can stop his affection of becoming a zombie? Because that part I don't understand. Like,
I don't know. I thought he was going to take his arm off.
Yeah,
that's what I thought he was doing. I thought he was taking the arm off. But, you know, they never explained any of that, so I don't know.
Yeah, so like that's my thing. And then I agree you, like, it is kind of weird that Kate has the rings. It's like, how much power does Sean needs to control that affection, like, not spreading all over his body? So, like, there's a lot of questions to that. But I don't mind, like, seeing someone else using the rings, like...
Maybe some of those rings are permanent and they're always on his arm now, and, like, they're keeping the infection from spreading.
True. But anyway, yeah, I don't see Kate using the rings in the film.
But you would imagine though that would make his arm fall off eventually, you know?
Yeah, I mean, when we jump to 5 years ago, like his arm looks like a very zombified arm. Like you can see the bones coming out from that hand, you know, as typical zombies. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I agree. Like I know we're not reviewing episode 3, but like this is a sequel to the What If episode, but you have to see episode 3 to kind of understand what I'm saying. But anyway, Cyber, your thoughts in episode 2, sir. Go ahead. It's your turn now, sir.
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I didn't like the demise of Yelena, but overall, we are halfway through the series. Because it is only 4 episodes long, so she made it halfway through. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really superb episode. I like that they brought in certain characters. I like that they brought characters from the previous episode. and I just overall really enjoyed it. I had a thrill watching it. I really enjoyed it.
All right, sweet and simple. Okay, I like this. This is my favorite episode. I mean, obviously, I love Shang-Chi. I love Black Widow, so it was a good episode combining those two characters. It was great to see Simo again, but I do agree with Jeff that he was a bit of a prick in this episode, like as a villain, as usual. Um, yeah, and as a short episode, it was a good action kind of episode, zombie. So
I think it's going to be a short review. I don't think it takes very long to review these episodes.
no, yeah. So let me start the review now and get out of here in a half hour, as usual.
Okay, so
I mean, I don't know what else we could say. I mean, we can talk more about
no, sir. It's just a reality. These are very short episodes, so I don't think we're going to have a long review. That's just how it usually works,
Yeah. I'm looking through the Marvel Zombies miniseries by Robert Kirkman, and it's very interesting because I forgot there are certain characters they have that is in the new phase of Marvel right now. That is actually the reason they got into the zombie-fi world, but we'll get into it afterwards if you guys care about that. But anyway,
you lost me with all that, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're going to make your point, make your point.
Well, so
are you saying that the characters that we're seeing right now are the ones that are in Kirkman's zombies?
Well, actually one of them is actually in his story, and we saw him in Thunderbolts, Sentry. So I totally forgot that Sentry was the zombify virus that infected Earth 2149. That's the Earth that gets into the zombie.
But Sentry's not in Marvel Zombies right now, sir.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if they're going to use him. I mean, the fact that we're using everyone. But anyway, I don't think so, because the fact is that Thunderbolts was.
So where did that come from? I thought your whole comment or point was that there was a character that was in both of the comic and the show or something like that.
No. So what I'm saying from the comic book, not the movie series we're reviewing, Marvel Zombies, but in the comic books, like you're saying, like we need to see how the zombie apocalypse.
I see. Okay, I get what you're saying.
And apparently, Sentry was from another dimension, and then he brought this, thing where it affects the Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and almost all these superheroes in that Earth 2149. And then that's where we get the zombie apocalypse there. And yeah, that's it. And
that sounds interesting. So they all become zombies, and that's how it starts. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a couple like ones that survive or whatnot. Very interesting stuff. But apparently the one it also connects to the another Marvel universe, the Ultimate Universe, for some reason. So that's interesting. But interesting. We'll get into more of that maybe after the series is over. But anyway, so let's get into episode 2. We get. I mean, one thing I do appreciate is the flashback. We got a flashback on the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, but in the perspective of Shang-Chi and best friend Kitty, and then we see them kind of go through this like one take through San Francisco, where batshit crazy happened. Not only we got the the zombie apocalypse happening, we got all the giant birds, beetles. I don't know what you call ants. And then giant man get eaten by a giant zombie, and pretty much wrapping up, Sean and Kate arrive in Chinatown to kind of like save her mom, but it gets in fire, so that means they're dead. The 10 Rings come and rescue Sean, but Shang-Chi is bitten, and so Wang-Wu kind of like boasts him with his mystical 10 Rings to contain the infection somehow, okay? And then he sacrificed himself to get them to escape. So let me stop there. Again, I mean, come on. Why you want to kill Wang Wu? He's a good character. But anyway, it was a good flashback. Let me start with you, Jeff. What you thought about the flashback here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was okay. It was cool. It was, it was an inventive, creative way to start things off with a flashback. That could always be interesting when they do that. With an episode of a TV show. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but in this case, it did come off okay. It was cool for them to start off right in San Francisco, and have it be like zombie ground zero day, and show us that, what I mean, event, like the initial spread of the virus or whatever, or the outbreak or whatever you want to call it, right? And it's cool that Jimmy Woo pops up, and he manages to survive the whole episode too, which is great. I like Jimmy Woo. He's always nice to see him, again. And what I didn't understand was, why were some of the people getting like super big? Like, what was that all about? Like, where did that? Why were zombies and regular people like just randomly becoming like Giant Man? Like,
so,
but even bigger than Giant Man, like, as big as like buildings.
Yeah, so there was one quick shot where Kate and Sean saw that the pin, because Hegpain had like a company, so the company got infected, and so the lab gets like somehow the lab.
So it was pin particles that got out somehow or something like that.
Yeah, and so like everything is like growing in size. It's not only the humans and the zombies; it's also birds and all that, from the lab.
I didn't even notice that stuff. I just noticed that there was just random humans and zombies that were getting like, huge, like, like bigger than like Giant Man, Ant-Man, like big. You know what I mean? Like, as big as buildings, But usually when Ant-Man goes, big, like Giant Man, he doesn't go that tall. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like as tall as a building. You know what I'm saying? So some of these motherfuckers were tall. They were like some big motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? That one tall zombie that Shang-Chi's dad took out with the 10 rings was tall. That was one tall fucking zombie, bro. Imagine how scary that would be in real life if a fucking zombie that big was like reaching out for you and shit like that. Reaching out for you to fucking grab you and shit. Dude. That shit would be fucking crazy, bro. Yeah, I mean, I will say, I guess, like, for what it is, I may not be like a big fan of it, but as far as Shang-Chi and Katie actually, like, doing their thing with the rings together or whatever, like that, that did seem okay when I did see them doing it. Obviously, they don't do it during this period right here. But like, I don't know. I mean, I felt like they kind of like, I don't know. Maybe the zombies are really softies to fight like hand to hand. Because Shang-Chi was like fighting a lot of motherfuckers at the same time. He was like just wading right through them. And I thought I was a little bit like, I don't know about all that. Like, come on, Shang-Chi. Like, you're beating up a lot of motherfuckers here in one shot here. Yeah, so I mean, it was a cool scene, them escaping through San Francisco, and making their way, out of there, and us losing, Shang-Chi's dad, but Shang-Chi, getting control of the rings, in some way, you know what I'm saying? It was interesting that, like, that Shang-Chi's dad and Death Dealer and everybody had already, like, known what was going on and were there to save Shang-Chi, Like, they hadn't seen each other in years, you know what I'm saying? But he was there to pick him up and save him, though. You know what I'm saying? He knew, where to find him and everything, It was cool seeing Death Dealer. I love how he never talks, That's cool, you know what I'm saying? He's a cool character. And he doesn't really, do a whole lot in this scene. He's just kind of in the helicopter, really. That's pretty much it. But, yeah, it was pretty cool, how they made it out on the helicopter. And, obviously then we have the big time jump or whatever after that.
Yeah, 5 years. Crazy. Cyber, your thoughts on the flashback, sir? Go ahead.
It's a really fun intro to the episode, I think. You know, we get a lot of great action, a lot of great zombie action. The giant zombies were fucking cool. You know, the fact that they had them getting infected with the pin particles was super hilarious, I thought, and was like, holy shit. Just like, you know, how Jeff said, imagine that hand coming at you. I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh,
dude, just imagine that shit,
take
Cyber.
me.
Imagine if you fucking in real life actually had some big zombie that big reaching out with a fucking hand to grab you.
I'd be like, take me. This would be epic. What a way to die. You know. So I thought it was super cool. I loved it. I loved how tall they were. I liked how we kept seeing attacks and stuff like that. I love that they brought back Shang-Chi and Katie together. I love that Simu Liu and, you know, Aquafina both voiced their characters for the show. And I think they really actioned it out. When Wu popped up, I was like, the Mandarin, what the hell is he doing here? And him popping up with 10 rings, I was like, oh, this is going to be badass. Excuse me. Badass. And I was like, holy shit, this is going to be cool. And yeah, I mean, it was freaking awesome, especially when it takes out the one big-ass zombie. I was just like, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, you know, Shang-Chi gets bit, and you're just like, ah, shit. And then the father gives him the rings and sacrifices himself. And I was like, okay, cool, Wenwu. I'm glad that you did something good for your kid, you know, versus how we know you from the Shang-Chi film. I was like, very proud of you, you know, very good. And, you know, it definitely is they try to make it kind of emotional beginning there, especially when they have to try to find Katie's family and they're dead. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, they're trying to go a little serious here. But the right out of the get-go, it was gore and blood and all that good stuff, which was really great. And I was like, yes, this is zombies. This is MA. This is, you know, TBMA. I'm like, nice, keep going. And I thought the look of it looked really cool, too. The action sequence there, I thought that, you know, Shang-Chi taking on as many zombies could was really cool. And, you know, unfortunately, we didn't get to see in that beginning sequence Katie doing archery or anything because, you know, at the beginning of the film, the Shang-Chi, she didn't know how to do archery very well, but she learns later on, which I think would have been hilarious if they had her do that right out the get-go. I thought that would have been interesting. But to kind of go off your guys' points, as you've been talking about how the rings have, you know, stopped the infection, think about it. The rings gave Wenwu thousands of years of life. So hence, the rings have power to sustain life. So putting on the rings would stop something from affecting you, correct? So same principle. That's what the ring does. The rings just stop things. If you wear it, they, you know, stop whatever's happening to you, aging, processing, all that kind of stuff. So the rings are, you know, very magical, very powerful, and hence why, you know, it stopped the infection from spreading and him becoming a full zombie. Which I think is really cool. You know, at first when he got bit, I'm like, are you kidding me? They killed him off right away. I'm like, and then he gets the ring on. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right, good. And the fact that, you know, he, you know, now fights with the rings and he's got the one kind of zombified arm, I think is pretty badass. So I think it's a really strong opening. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. No. Actually, totally forgot about the rings they give Wenwu immortality.
That is important, Andre. Yeah. Cyber makes a good point on that. That the rings do preserve and you know, extend your life.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense now. Yeah, because I totally forgot about that. Yeah, because Wenwu is 1,000 years old. You know, because in the Shang-Chi film we saw like he dates back way far. You know, before modern times. Yeah, good point. Thank you, Cyber. Yeah, so I really liked the flashback. I thought it was really, like, great. Zombie Apocalypse 101, so that was good. So let's get into, like, the 5-year jump where we get pretty much the survivors of Shang-Chi, Kate, Wu, and Death Dealer with 3 civilians called Rick, Denise, right? As Sandra. And, you know, we see them doing a Mad Max Mad Max style of, like, going to the road, you know, with these, like, apocalypse trucks. And then we get this cool, like, fight off with the Scroll Bandits, which was kind of cool. By the way, speaking of Jimmy Woo, it was great to have him here because he really actually adds the funny humor here. Him and Death Dealer as like partners, that's such good comedy bit because the guy is silent, and then you got Jimmy Woo, who is like this like comedian. I like that they like are using the stuff that we know about Jimmy Woo from the movies, like the magic stuff, which is great that they do later on the episode we'll get into. He's really great. I'm very happy they got Rena Park back to voice this character. So, we get them fighting the Skull Bandits and, pretty good action scene. And then they arrive here at Simo's section where they meet up with Kamala's crew. And apparently Simo has a heaven kind of safety for the civilians. And we see that he's using the raft as a safe passage for the humans away from the zombies. Okay, good idea. I kind of like that. By the way, his right-hand man is, what is it? Walker? John Walker from, fucking Wood Soldier, U.S. agent as his right-hand man. That was a great choice. I actually love that.
Oh, is that who that fucking was?
Yeah, that's John Walker, U.S. agent, and I think that's Russell, the son of Kurt Russell, is voicing him. So that is him, U.S. agent. Weird, because this is before he has his like iconic suit. As Cyber say before, this is before like the stories of their like TV shows haven't happened or movies. Like Kate didn't do the arrow thing as we saw in the movie, because that didn't happen in this episode or in this universe. So U.S. agent, doesn't become U.S. agent in this universe because he's still Walker. So he doesn't have the super soldier formula. So that's how he gets killed quickly in this episode. So yes, that is John Walker. So and they and then after that the two groups agreed to work together, to keep the peace in the raft, because Simo, as usual, Simo doesn't like superheroes or like super enhanced people like Captain America. So, he makes sure he wants to make sure that these groups can like agree to like uphold their deals. So they agreed to work together, and because Kamala's group, so we're getting here like Kamala's group wants to go en route to New Asgard because they have one of the ships to like ship to like go up to space and like communicate with the Nova Corps. Sorry, the Nova Corps in space to get them over to Earth to like contain the zombie apocalypse. At the same time, we get Simo talking to Walker, and he kind of talks about how the ship can protect them from the zombie, and apparently there's like a ritual he has in the ship, and so he attempts to sacrifice the heroes to the affected Telecon, the Atlanteans from Marvel, to the zombified Namor to like keep the peace. I guess him keeping the peace to him and the humans. I guess I don't know. That was kind of weird. I don't understand what he's trying to do, but yeah. So he's just feeding the superheroes to the zombified Telecon / Nemo. And let me stop there. Let me go back to Cyber. Cyber, is your turn, sir. So I want to kind of hear your thoughts about the 5-year jump, seeing our Shang-Chi and Kate and their crew meeting up with Kamala's crew, and the end point is pretty much seeing the Telecon zombies attacking the ship and seeing the first time the zombified Namor. Go ahead.
So the time jump is interesting. It gave me a very Mad Max vibe, this sequence. And so I was totally, the first thing I said out of my mouth was, oh, I feel like we're watching Mad Max here. The Skrulls coming after them, and it was hilarious to me. And I was just kind of like thinking to myself, I'm like, why are the Skrulls after you? I don't get this fucking thing. Should it be zombies? I'm like, what the hell? And so, it being, the Skrulls was kind of funny at the same time. And, but that action sequence was pretty good. I mean, them taking them out, running over, zombies and all this kind of good stuff. And and take out scrolls and stuff was really cool. We got some great, kind of like moments with, with Randall Park's character and Death Dealer, and which were freaking hilarious. There was one scene where it like pans to his face and he's like going, and I'm just like, dude, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to like say? Hey, Death Dealer, you're hot, man, or something. Like I was like, what the hell? I'm like, what the hell was that? Just how it was drawn was hilarious. I thought it was just like, the character that, Randall Parks plays is just freaking hilarious. I love that character. I think he's super funny, super hilarious, and I just really enjoy it. And so him being a part this whole episode was absolutely fantastic. And I have to, say that that's just a great addition to this episode, adding that character in. But when they meet up with, Miss Marvel's crew, Red Guardian, Yelena, and, the rest of their crew, I think it's quite interesting, kind of the whole setup and everything. And then them being in the raft, which, we are aware of the raft, what it was used for in a few of the different films and stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting that they had that as a part of this episode and that would be used to help escape the zombies. And I think that's kind of a cool thing because the raft was always a really cool thing, something I wish they would go more into. And we would have seen more of the whole raft itself and seeing like all the different criminals and stuff like that in there. And even maybe a breakout from there would be really cool too. But I enjoyed that sequence. I think it's really fun and awesome. And then leading up to basically your endpoint, sir, the Atlanteans, of course they're undersea, so that, that they would have to be fighting undersea creatures. So that makes sense. But at the same time, it was just kind of like, oh, that's how they bring in Namor. Okay. And then Namor looked pretty badass. I mean, he looked like a really sick ass zombie. So I have to give him props for that. But yeah, totally was wondering when Namor was going to pop up and him popping up with this. I was like, ooh, nice. So yeah, really, really solid section 2. I think it has a lot of great moments and I enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, fantastic. Mixed section. Jeff, your thoughts on the 5-year jump up to the introduction to the Tanakan zombies in the sea and Namor himself as a zombie?
Yeah, the whole 5-year time jump, and then Shang-Chi and Katie and their whole group, Mad Maxon, like the desert, in their cars, cool cars and shit was dope. The fact that they have cows with them to barter with, that's how, that's where we're at societally, at this point, so they've got their cows and, it was cool seeing them take out, those marauders or whatever, those Skrulls. Or why were there Skrulls on the planet Earth, during the zombie apocalypse? What the fuck was up with that?
Well, so just like What If Season 3, we know that this series was supposed to be in between the projects of Season 4, Phase 4 and 5, right? And because Secret Invasion happened, because that show told us that so many years since Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I know. There's all these Skrulls. Yeah,
I know. So that's why we have the Skrulls here. Yeah, because at first when I saw the first time the episode last week, I was like, why the hell the Skrulls are here? They usually are in space. But then I had to remember that Secret Invasion apparently told us that there were a bunch of them in Earth for so many years.
There were already Skrulls. You're right. So that, I guess that would make sense. So seeing Death Dealer take out some of the Marauders was cool. Seeing him get some action. Them finding Zemo and meeting Yelena's group and everything, with Miss Marvel and all that, and Moon Knight, / Blade, whatever you want to call him, Blade Knight, whatever he's called now. That was cool. Zemo finding the raft, as his portable city, you know what I'm saying? That's so obvious. The raft is out there to grab, you know what I mean? So of course Zemo was on the raft as a prisoner, So of course he has the raft, you know. So it all made sense. Like, you know, okay, yeah, all right, he's got the raft, you know. It could be like a city, you know. They trade for the cows, you know what I mean, for like, you know, and to be protectors, you know, and like add protection, you know. And Zemo lets him in, lets him on, but he flat out makes it clear that he doesn't like heroes, you know, because he's got to mention that, right? Because he's Zemo, you know. So like, yeah. I love every scene where Moon Knight Blade is in the scene is great. Whenever he's got dialogue or whatever, and he gets a chance to talk, I love it. Miss Marvel, like, her powers aren't all that impressive so far in Marvel Zombies. Like, I feel like in her show, she was already showing like better use of her powers, you know, than she's showing now. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, because the timeline here is that she didn't experience her like training as a superhero properly because of the zombie apocalypse. So that's why we don't. She didn't
really have training. She trained on like on the fly, you know.
Yeah. Well, I know it's weird, but like in the show, she was with that weird like superhero group
and that one over in India or whatever. That one episode where they like they trained her a little bit, you know, and all that. But like,
yeah.
But that was it. It was just like a 1 day thing they did. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how many days, but yeah, that's
true. That's all it was. You know what I mean? Like, you know. I remember that episode. That was like that one like secret group or whatever, you know, that was over there in India or whatever, you know.
Yep. Yeah.
They came and found her and like, you know, brought her over and everything, you know. She was kind of digging the guy.
Yeah. The superhero, and then
he wasn't really a superhero. That guy didn't have powers.
No, I mean, I guess he was
he was just like an assassin.
Really? Assassin? Oh my god.
Yeah, like a warrior or whatever, you know? That's all he was, you know what I mean? He was like a trained warrior, you know?
Okay, that's a good point.
That's why he was able to train her, because he was like a trained, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it's been a while I saw the show, but yeah, I think you're right. He could be an assassin or whatever.
Yeah, he was something.
Yeah, he was something.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, he got her scarf. I mean, her famous scarf from the comic book, so that's
that's great. So when Cyber mentioned, you know, how cool Namor looks as a zombie. Yeah, Namor looks cool as a zombie. He's cool. You know, I knew the minute that they went in the water what was going to happen. It was so predictable. You know what I'm saying? You knew that, like, the Atlanteans or whatever, you know, were going to, like, come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And, like, come after the ship, you know? So that was kind of like a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess, Andres.
All right. Well, let's keep going here. So after that, you know, the whole team are trying to get away from the main hub, because now the main hub is now flooding and / affecting by the zombies, and everyone's getting killed here. And Namor is getting out of like the Hulk chamber that was built for the Hulk. That's kind of cool. But Sumo does his Sumo thing. So Sumo and Walker goes up to like the escape pod, but he has to it fails. So he needs to kind of like manually control it in this other room. But the heroes were going to where he was going, and like the Namor zombify attacks them, and you know, as killing the refugees as Simo and John attempted to flee with the escape pod, you know, Nero kills Walker. Walker's death was brutal. Like, he cut him in half, and you hear him say, was it motherfucker or something like before the cut? So, die, your motherfucker, you know, the zombify, and it gets cut in half, which was brutal. And then, you know, Nero kills the three, you know, civilians that was with Sean and Cade, you know, Rick, Dennis, and Sandra. Their deaths was brutal. Kamala deduces that Wanda is after the transmitter because throughout the episode, she had like a nightmare and like she was getting some visions with Wanda. So apparently something is connecting her with Wanda. So again, we're like setting up this tease about Wanda, and because we find out that last week she's like the queen of the dead. So I'm very curious what they're building up towards Scarlet Witch. So besides that, she kills Namor in a very cool way. Like she uses her powers as the Namor was trying to kill her, bite her arm. She uses her power to like blow up his head up. But as the raft begins to sink, Alea stays behind against Alexi's pleas to mentally override the escape pod's launch. Oh my god, launch. Yeah, launch. Not lunch. Launch. The group successfully escapes while Leia toasts her fallen allies before the Telecon zombies break in. This part I didn't like. I love Elena. She's my favorite character. The fact that she is going to be dead or zombified, whatever we're going to see her, if not. Very sad that we lose her, but as you were saying for Jeff, that's just typical zombie beat. We have to kill our characters. Same thing with Walking Dead. No one's safe. Besides the main characters. So we have to lose a couple characters. But yeah, so that's the end of the episode, and good finale. So let me get back to you, Jeff. What do you thought about the ending of the episode?
Yeah, sir. I mean, it was just pretty much okay. I mean, it wasn't, it went kind of how I figured it would go, kind of, once Namor became a part of the picture, and could just basically like, tear the ship apart, right? They were pretty much fucked, you know what I'm saying? Against Namor, I don't know about him, like, I don't know about him being so strong that he could fight his way out of the Hulk container. You know what I'm saying? The Hulk, trap. Because like that was really strong. You know what I'm saying? Like that trap. You know what I mean? Like that was built like to sustain the Hulk. So like I don't know about Namor being that strong, like like Hulk level strong, they've never said that like they get stronger because of being zombies. You know what I mean?
Well, I like especially these like this coming from a comic book guy. Just listen to me, Jeff. Sometimes what comic book writers do with Atlantean people that they stronger in the water. So like these creatures are in the water that they're naturally living in, so they get in.
Yeah, but that was a dry container. There was no water.
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes, if I remember correctly, I don't know. I'm not familiar with Namor's like power level, but I swear that apparently
he's really strong. I'm not saying he's not strong. I'm just saying I don't remember him being so strong from the comics that he was like Hulk level strong. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? He's a strong dude, He's very powerful, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's not, he's just as powerful, like, outside of the ocean on land as he is in the water, he's just as dangerous, he was pretty sick as a zombie. I mean, there was a lot of good zombie kills, a lot of good zombie deaths, once again, Miss Marvel's been pretty clutch for the team, for the A team, putting up her shield walls, to protect the group a couple times, when she had to, right? She kept them alive when they got stuck out, when they got pumped out into the ocean, She kept them alive out there by making that like, crystal, boat or whatever, So Miss Marvel came up big. She saved the team a couple times there, and really good seeing Moon Knight Blade in action again, with his sword. He's so good, I did like I like seeing what's her name as like Wanda's like commander of the dead or whatever, like in that one scene where way earlier in the episode where she says like there's nowhere where you can hide or whatever, Okoye, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Why Okoye, how Okoye became like, you know, the commander or whatever of like Wanda's zombie army is interesting. I'd like to know how that worked out. But I guess that probably never explained that. Yeah, you know, it was cool, you know. Obviously, you know, at the end of the day, we lost Yelena, you know what I'm saying? But she had a good death, you know. I felt like the stuff with the Red Guardian was a little bit over emotional, if anything, you know what I mean? Like it was kind of overdoing it, you know. But you know, hey, the good guys got away, and I guess, you know, they got to go get to a ship so they can, you know, get a hold of the Nova Corps or whatever, you know, since that's the big grand plan or whatever, I guess, you know, to save Earth is to get the Nova Corps going, right? So, you know, hopefully they'll next episode they'll make it to the ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen the beginning of episode 3. Very interesting what they do, but you know, here and there. But anyway, good point, sir. Yeah, I agree with the Red Guardian thing. It was kind of overacting. I just thought it's just let him cry, or just like doing like the con thing, Elena, you know, like something like that. Simple as that, but not like overdoing it. You know, like saying all these like it's like don't use your words and all that. You know, like it was very dramatic. You know, it was almost like a TV soap opera, basically. Cyber, it's your turn, sir. Your thoughts on the final act? Go ahead, or the final episode part.
The final act was correct, sir.
Okay, final act. You know, what I mean, you know, the episode.
Yep. So the final part of the episode is really decent too. I mean, Zemo and Johnny Walker getting away was interesting. Yelena sacrificing herself so that they could get away. The Red Guardian thing I thought was kind of interesting, having him play the father figure quite a lot in these last 2 episodes with Yelena, like him, you know, being like her father and stuff like that. And I thought that was, you know, very interesting that they decided to go with that and do that. I thought that was very decent. And I thought, you know, David Harbour did an okay job. I remember the first episode, I felt like it didn't really sound like David Harbour. But in this one, it definitely sounded a lot more like him. I felt it definitely sounded better than the first one that he did. I felt, and I enjoyed that. I love Ray Guardian. I think he's freaking hilarious. I love it, and he was just another great kind of like comedic set piece that they add to this. And I just really enjoyed the ending. I thought it was really done well. I thought it left you on a kind of a cliffhanger, like where they're going now. And, you know, basically them getting away from, you know, zombie Namor was really cool. And like all the deaths that, you know, he created in that sequence was freaking insane, especially when he like slices that one person in half. I was like, holy crap, we got some real gore here. And I thought that was really done well. So, yeah, I thought it was a really solid ending to a really enjoyable episode.
Thank you, sir. I like this episode. That's my favorite. I'm curious how episode 3 4 is gonna pan. I'm gonna see them after this live stream review. But yeah, good job, guys. Let's get into our ratings. Starting with you again, you Cyber. Your rating of this episode.
I give this one a solid 10. I really enjoyed it. I really found it interesting, and I thought it just was very great. It was a lot better than the first episode, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I like this more than the last episode we did last week. Jeff, your rating.
I guess I could give it I'll give it a 6.5. You know, yeah, you know, I'm not trying to be a stick in the mud, but it just didn't do enough for me to get any of a higher rating than that.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, and my rating is yeah, I'll go with Cyber. 10 out of 10. I enjoy it. I love it. You know, despite killing my favorite character, you know, you don't judge me, Jeff. I'm just it's one of those weeks. You know, it's a good zombie episode. It's not Walking Dead. You know, it's not Daryl Dixon. I mean, this is better than Dead City, I will say. Like,
Daryl Dixon episode 5 was better than this.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. It was better. But again, like we saw a giant zombie. we're not gonna get that in Walking Dead. But anyway, that's my thoughts. Thank you everyone for joining us for the Marvel Zombies episode 2 live recap and panel discussion. As my good friend Jeff said before, this is gonna be a short review. These episodes are short. It's animation miniseries, so what do you expect? So I'm gonna give it to him.
That's okay. That's okay, sir. Okay. You did a good job. We've had less than an hour long episodes before, or shows before. It happens. Yeah. I will start off for plugs by going to your channel first, Andres, the Pop Culture Guy.
All right. This is Andres, Pop Culture Guy. You see here, I just recently posted a short clip from Scream, the first film, where CD kills Stu. And yesterday, I posted my huge ambitious project, aka the 25th anniversary tribute to the X-Men film series, because this year is the 25th anniversary of the first X-Men film. So I just decided to celebrate all the 14 films. Yes, I'm including Deadpool, Wolverine, in the lump of the X-Men film series that we gotten since 2000. Check it out, please. It was a long, drooling work to get that complete. And shorts, I review another Studio Ghibli film, Castle of the Sky. Please check that out. Movie clips, I'll be doing American Werewolf in London. So you can check out the iconic transformation, the creepy dream sequence that the main character has, as you see right there. Very creepy. And then, of course, his best friend coming from the dead to warn him about the full moon. And live stream reviews. I finally got up the live stream stuff. Please check that out. So this Sunday, we're going to do the Reanimator film, the 1985 classic film. And then the next one in the next week after that, it will be Scream 3. So those are going to be the two live stream views, to honor the Halloween season. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Please support me, Cyber, and the MC Bleeding Edge, and their content, all that. Please support us.
Okay. Excellent. Cyberneticshark, sir. Have at it, sir.
All right, folks. So if you enjoyed me here on the panel, or if you enjoyed me as a moderator on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, you can check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneticshark on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X, Patreon, pretty much any social media platform. As you can see there, my most recent two videos are two trailer reactions. One for Christy, which is an upcoming biopic about the female boxer Christy, and also the horror film Coyote starring Justin Long and Kate Bosworth. If you have not seen either of those trailers, check those out. Really fun stuff, really enjoyable. Most recent, of course, short, I believe, is still for, if I remember correctly, the Wolfman. Yes, the Wolfman and the Long Walk and Battle After Another Battle. One battle after another. The Wolfman, such a great classic film from 1941. Reviewed it with the Middle Aged Men review. If you get a chance when that drops, check it out. They're an all audio podcast. Really enjoyable guys. Really fun to talk to them with that. And also this week, I'll be doing the Phantom of the Opera with them, along with Dracula as well. So keep an eye out for that too down the road from those guys. But yeah, definitely if you enjoy my stuff here, go on and check that stuff out. Subscribe. Check out my Patreon, subscribe there too as well. Keep helping all of us grow. Help us grow here on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge too. We thank you for all watching us here on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. And you guys are rocking it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we love Matt and Tim and Joey over at Middle Age Movie Reviews. Why do I always call them Middle Age? Is that what they're called? Is it Middle Age Movie Reviews?
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Okay, that's what they're
Middle-aged men. Middle-aged men.
Middle-aged men. Okay, yeah. For some reason, I knew I wasn't getting it completely right. Anyways, all right, guys. So that's Marvel Zombies episode 2. We're done for this evening. Please do us a solid if you enjoy us in audio form. Rate and follow the podcast. We'd really appreciate it. Shout out and much love to Cyber for rocking the guest panel with just me tonight. And wonderful job, Andres the Pop Culture Guy, doing a very short moderating gig tonight. And we will be back again as a trio for Peacemaker episode 8 on Friday. Should be a very interesting episode, the finale. So we'll see you then, essentially.
Yes. Peace.
Later.